Hello and welcome to The Driven. It is Tim and Tanya again reporting from a new electric vehicle that we have not yet reviewed here on this channel, and it is Deepal's S07. Now, I know nothing about this car, but Tim has had it for the last, 10 days? 8 days?
Had it for a week, Tanya.
Had it for a week.
Yep.
And we're going to go drive around, talk about it, and see what Tim likes, what he doesn't like, and you'll really get a first-hand impression of what my thoughts are as someone who has never been in this car before. So let's do it.
Let's go.
So, Tim.
Yes.
What were your first impressions when you got this car?
I think first impressions was it looks good from the outside. Like it's an attractive looking car in a sort of masculine, macho kind of way.
Yeah.
It's got like, slim looking headlights and sort of, I don't know, just looking at it then almost looks a little bit like a Lamborghini in some ways. Like,
true, the color is very
the color
sharp.
And the headlights, I think, just sort of gave me that impression.
For sure.
And apart from that, the inside, first sitting the inside looks pretty good too. You can probably see it a bit on the video, but it's inspired by yachts apparently.
Inspired by yachts.
Apparently.
Okay.
According to Deepal. So maybe there's this sort of stitching on the door frames and stuff is where they come inspired by yachts. There's some sort of wood sort of pattern.
Yeah.
So perhaps
what's great is that there's so much space. When we were talking about this just a little bit earlier, I was rummaging through this like, okay, I could put a bag here. I could put, the classic electrify this.
Yep.
Test. Can I put a wine bottle? You could definitely put a wine bottle here.
Probably fit a six-pack in there.
You can fit a lot of stuff there. So lots of space. Like you said, the stitching is quite nice. It is a short car. That's something that kind of comes to mind.
The height, you mean?
Yeah. It's I'm not very tall at all, and not that I'm necessarily close, but I know a lot of friends who are much taller than me who would struggle with the roof of this car.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, I noticed that as well, Tanya. Like when I first sat in it, I was like, I want to get the seat lower, but this is as low as it goes. And I just feel like I'm a little bit high compared to where I would normally like to sit in a car.
Yeah.
And I had a very tall friend, 190 centimeters, sitting it yesterday, and he was sort of had to, slouch right down or stick his head down a bit just to be able to get a good view out of the front.
Yeah.
Because he was being blocked by the, the sun visor and stuff, even when it was folded up. So yeah, like if I fold the sun visor down, I'm like, it sort of blocks a lot of the windscreen. So definitely something to keep in mind if you got, if you're a tall person or you got tall kids, or take tall people for a ride, often in the back as well. He was also hitting his head in the back. So
in the back,
just on the side of the sort of roof there, and the back, there's a sort of at the back of this glass roof, there's like a beam that goes across, and even Sam was sitting in it just before briefly, and he was sort of hitting his head on that pillar across the back of the glass roof. So yeah, something to keep in mind if you're a tall person. This car, somehow, it's quite a big car, like it's a medium-sized SUV, but yeah, headroom and stuff inside is not great.
And in terms of visibility as a driver, how are you finding seeing out of the window, seeing behind? Do you have a good view of the road?
I'd say mostly pretty good. Like the view out the back with the glass is a little bit narrow, but not terrible. And the rear quarters, I would say, like if you want to check your blind spot for cars coming and stuff, it is a little bit narrow there, so a little bit hard to see just in the back corners. Sorry.
Yeah. So this car does vehicle to load. Can you tell us?
Vehicle to load.
Oh yeah, I can do it. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So the vehicle to load in this car, some cars with vehicle to load have like an interior, 15 amp socket or just a regular 10 amp socket.
Yeah.
This car just requires an extra discharge adapter or discharge cable that Deepal calls it, that you have to plug into the charge port on the outside. So, you can only really power stuff on the outside in this car, not on the inside. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to sort of sit in the car and do some work with the laptop and charge it up and stuff. You'll be able to use the USB ports, but not the vehicle to load feature.
That is interesting. And what's the range like?
This one comes with an 80 kilowatt hour battery, which gives up to 475 kilometers WLTP range. So not bad. Like I wouldn't say it's class leading. Like there's cars out there that give you more range, but it's pretty decent, I would say.
Yeah. And where do you think this is going to sit in the market? Who are the main competitors for this car? And is it going to reach the right audience?
Yeah, good questions. I think the main competitors, in the medium SUV space, it's pretty crowded. Like even I haven't counted the number of different models, but you've got the top selling ones like the Model Y, the Sealion 7 from BYD.
Yep.
Kia EV5, Geely EX5, which is selling quite well.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of choice if you're looking for a medium-sized electric SUV. And this one, I think, given a few little quirks and stuff, I think it's sort of a tough sell, I would think. It's $49,990 plus on-road, so it's a little bit cheaper than the Model Y, the Sealion 7. It's about maybe perhaps $5,000 to $10,000 more than the Geely EX5.
Okay.
So that's sort of, a pretty good value car. This one is, like I said, a little bit cheaper than the top couple of sellers, but potentially not sure if it does enough to kind of tease people to sort of, trust a new brand that's pretty new to Australia. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess a more philosophical question that I have is, with all of the EVs that are coming to Australia, is the bar changing from what we consumers expect from these brands? Like, is it that the quirks don't really justify getting this car? Not that that's necessarily what you've said, but if we were to just, I guess, be crude about it, but is it also that this is just like an average car and there's really nothing wrong with it, but because we have such great quality EVs that the competition is a lot more?
I think you've summed it up pretty well, Tanya. I think it is the case. Like, this car doesn't do anything terribly wrong, but it doesn't necessarily have any real big standout features. Like the Deepal E07, which is a second car that Deepal brought out, has that's that sort of SUV ute kind of E07 multi-truck, it's called. So that's got that unique feature of being able to transform into a ute. Whereas this car, it's a medium-sized SUV. It does most things pretty well, but it doesn't have any standout features. So I think there's a lot of competition, as we were just talking about. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts from a brief ride?
Well, I've loved the ride. I think it's a very smooth, seamless drive. I like the features. Yeah, like everything is new. There's a lot of space. Again, because I am quite short, I don't have those quirks, like at least the physical quirks with the headroof that Sam from The Driven mentioned, and you've also flagged with your friend. Some of the technical quirks, like the steering wheel being, if it's not straight, you get a notification. Those little things I'm a bit like, okay, we've got all of this aid and we've got all of this help, but I don't really know if it's putting us in the right direction. Like, do I really need to know if my steering wheel is straight or not? Probably not. Is that something else on my driving list that I now have to be concerned about? Probably. So yeah, in my mind, this is just another SUV, which isn't a bad thing. Like, it's nice to say that we've just got another electric SUV as an option in Australia.
That's good to have a lot of competitions.
Absolutely. And I think the competition is actually going to drive everything in the right direction, particularly here in Australia, where, EV uptake is not as much as Europe or even, Scandinavian countries specifically. So more competition in my mind is great. Mm-hmm. This is adding to that competition. And I guess we'll just see with the EV sales at the end of the month how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, we can speak about how it's gone so far. So far this year, there's only been about 220 roughly sales of the S07 year to date. So yeah, from March to October, that's pretty low. I mean, some of those other competitors, Model Y, Sealion 7 are selling 1,500, even $3,000 in some months. So definitely quite low down. I think it was around 50th in terms of in the charts when I looked earlier this week. But so
we'll see. I mean, it is interesting to even ponder why it would be like that, but maybe it is just the different cars and the competition that's out there.
It could be. And yeah, I mean, the Deepal did have some issues early on with the driver assistance systems being a little bit overly sensitive, which they have addressed with a software update, which you can now actually sort of you can swipe down and sort of turn off the things and they stay turned off permanently, which is a good thing. Whether that's really fixing the issue or just kind of, letting people turn off the systems that don't work so well, that's another debate, I guess. But that's what they've done so far. So people are happy with that.
Okay. Well, any final thoughts, any final remarks before we wrap up another Tim and Tanya adventure?
And I think it's been good to try more competition. As you said, there's so many different EV models out there, and it's just good to see what features and sort of things different ones have. I think in the case of the Deepal S07 doesn't quite do enough for me, but I think that's just a case, like you said, there's just so much good competition out there.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete in that market.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching another interview / review / Tim and Tanya adventure. Like, we'll be doing a lot more of these in the future with new EVs, even some old EVs. We might even do some legacy reviews and go back to review some brands and see how they stack up now in comparison to newer models that have come out. Now that we have that competition and we have the ability to compare and contrast. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.